Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's me again, Jen. Hello! And we are reading from the Witches Tarot because it is the season of the witch. It is spooky season. It is time when we can get witchy and not be looked at weird. The 1 month out of the year that all of my clothing makes sense. That's all I got to say about that. I love this deck. I've had it for many, many years. I think I've had it for over 20 years. And it does have a great big pentacle on the back, and it does have kind of photorealistic drawings on it. They're beautiful, but I have pulled out all of the ones that contain a lot of nudity just because I don't want to get pulled off of YouTube for, excessive nudity and things like that. I don't know how that stuff works because I don't typically have a lot of nakedity on my videos. So I pulled out those. I'm not playing with full deck. I think I've made that joke enough this month. Anyway, moving on. Let's see what card we have for today before I talk myself into a pit. All right. Okay. I mentioned this with the Queen. I think it was the Queen of Pentacles. Don't quote me on that. I record these and then sometimes it goes right out of my brain. The Queens and Kings and Court cards of this deck, in every suit, they relatively look the same. So it's not going to be super exciting if I get more than one of them this month. You're going to see that the King of Cups is dressed very similarly to the King of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and the King of Swords. The difference is in the color of their robes and his little headdress that he's wearing. So in this case, the King of Cups, which it does say on here, is standing in a kind of a frozen field sort of thing, which I think is super interesting. I will get into that. And he is in blue robes because blue represents water, cups represent water, water represents emotion, so cups represent emotion. They would also be in a standard deck of playing cards, the hearts. So what this does retain, though, I guess, from a standard deck of playing cards is that the kings, queens, jacks, and other cards in there are going to be relatively the same, no matter which one you're looking at, no matter which suit you're looking at. So he has kind of a gold tone to things, but otherwise he's wearing a blue turban and a blue robe and kind of this collar piece. He is holding a cup, so you can reaffirm that he is the King of Cups, and that much is very simple and concise. He has kind of the lighter complexion, but he does have kind of a darker beard. So that's a little bit different. I would have assumed him to have maybe like a blonde or lighter colored beard just because that's what the cups usually represent. But maybe it's like an age thing. I don't know. Maybe they just did it all the same on the kings. I'll have to look again. What I find interesting about this is that he is not on water necessarily. He's kind of on a frozen pond. I will say that this is one of the more unique ways to represent the attributes of an individual who has elevated themselves to King of Cups sort of status. So the King of Cups is usually male, usually older, and usually has very stable control of their emotions. So therefore, they're a little bit like frozen pond, and you won't see a lot of ripples. The more negative or weaker aspects of it is that they're kind of frigid a little bit. They're kind of stone cold. They don't have a lot of emotions to show. And that can make them seem very strict and very aloof and very distant. So think about your water sign people. They're either very emotional or they're very kind of almost stoic because they've managed all of their emotions to the point of being this frozen pond. I will say that typically the King of Cups individuals that I have met who kind of fit the description of this card are a little more free with their emotions. They're open to sharing their feelings and how they want to be represented in a situation, how they feel, all of that kind of stuff. They're usually pretty chill about it. They're like, hey, that does not make me happy. I'm not going to blow up in your face about it, but also I'm going to be honest about it. And if I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry, and it's okay. So it's a little bit weird to have them be so represented by this frozen lake rather than maybe like a still pond where it still could move. You throw a rock in there, they're going to let you know, hey, there's some ripples that you made. But I don't know. Maybe it's just that like it takes that much to crack the ice with these people. Either way, I do like how simply these are represented. And again, if you're trying to stick with like the witchy and pagan symbology and the elements and how the colors are represented, this is not going to confuse you. You're going to be very sure that water is represented by blue. And as we saw, pentacles and earth are represented by green. And so there's a clarity to that. I would almost say that if you want to use these cards to better understand maybe the elements in terms of magic, use these cards as a guide. So you've got kind of a visual aid. Maybe put your kings in the four corners where they represent, and you can start to get a visual representation of how they work. That's just an idea because again, these are super simple cards and there's not a whole lot else going on with them. But because of that, they're a great teaching tool and memorization tool. Your brain says, oh, blue, king, water, cups, emotions. Cool, I got that. And that way you can kind of roll all those things together and you don't have to overthink it. So while I'm a little bummed out that they didn't get more creative with how our kings and queens, princes and princesses, which we'll get into that, are represented, it is nice as well to have this simple way to remember which symbol and which element goes with which color. So if you're working on that, these are going to help you. Sure, there's a positive side to simplicity, you know. I just like fancier cards. But either way, I hope you are enjoying these cards. I certainly am enjoying sharing them with you. I know that even after I show you all of them for the month, I'm going to want to show you more. So if you're interested and you want to know more about these cards or you want a reading, please check out my website and or my YouTube channels, all the other things that I do. And check these cards out. They're so interesting. They're so fun. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay spooky. Bye.